This video will be single-handedly the greatest lesson that I teach, and if you've ever wondered why you can't seem to make permanent change, I guarantee you this is exactly why. Something that is never truly spoken about is the fact that the word spelling and the word spell come from the exact same ancient root. What does this mean? Well, when you spell a word, you are literally casting a spell. Now, this isn't to be woo-woo or anything like that. This is not a metaphor, it's literally etymology. And how I mean by that is every time you've spoken to yourself, every sentence that you've said to yourself in your own head or out loud has literally been you casting a spell. And you've been casting them at yourself thousands of times a day for your entire life without even knowing what you are doing. If your life isn't working out exactly how you want it to be, I can almost guarantee that this is the exact reason why. And in the next 8 minutes, I'll be covering 3 things: the neuroscience that backs it, why nobody ever talks about it, and 3 steps to implement tonight for you to be able to actually start changing your life. This is episode 4 of The Enemy is Internal, and today we'll be covering the most dangerous thing that you own, your self-talk. You have literally been casting spells on yourself your whole life without even realizing it. The great Buddha once said, watch your thoughts, they become your words. Watch your words, they become your actions. Let's start with why no one is talking about this. And here's what's strange about what I just told you. This idea that the words you speak to yourself become the person that you are is one of the oldest, best documented truths in human history. Predates modern psychology by thousands of years. So why does no one talk about this anymore? You've been handed the watered down version. Affirmations, gratitude journals, positive thinking. The motivation industry is worth tens of billions of dollars. It is literally the biggest industry in the world, and you don't even realize it because they're never going to give you the exact secrets that you need to be able to change your life, because they want you to continue to show up and listen to what they have to say. And the funny thing is about that industry, it runs on the weakest possible version of this principle. The real mechanism, the one that actually works, has disappeared from mainstream advice. Not because it stopped working, because it worked too well. Chase Hughes is one of the world's leading experts in human influence. He has trained behavioral analysts at literally the highest level. And the line that he keeps coming back to across every lecture, every interview is this: identity is the number one thing in the world when it comes to influence. The moment you can get someone to make a statement or an I am statement in their own head, you are hacking your way into that person's identity. Read that line again. The moment you get someone, or the moment you make someone have an I am statement, you are literally hacking into their identity. If an outside person can shift who you believe yourself to be just by getting you to run one sentence in your head, what do you think is happening when you run sentences in your own head 10,000 times a day? This is not a parlay trick. This is a literal mechanism. And the people who fully understand it truly do not want you to understand it. Because the moment you see what your own self-talk is actually doing to yourself, you become a much harder target for marketing, for social media, for anybody who wants to sell you literally anything. That's why it's been hidden in plain sight. Not because it's mystical, literally because it is too effective. Now let's dive into the mechanism. Here's what modern neuroscience has done to this ancient idea. It's been proved in a lab with brain scans as per this diagram. One of the greatest neuroscience of our time, Donald Hebb, laid out the rule that literally runs the human brain. Neurons that fire together, wire together. Translation, what does that mean? Every thought you repeat physically builds a new pathway in your brain, and the pathway gets stronger every time that you use it. Which means by the time you've said, I always mess this up, or I am an idiot, for example, to yourself 1,000 times, that is no longer a thought. It is literally a highway carved into your brain, and it's the default road your brain takes when anything goes wrong. You blame yourself. You are harsh on yourself. There's no effort, there's no choice. Your brain just takes that path because that's the road that you've literally built. And here's the part that realistically should stop you cold. Brain scans have shown that your nervous system does not distinguish the difference between someone else speaking to you and you speaking to yourself. The same regions light up, the same hormones are released. The body literally responds in the same way. When you call yourself an idiot in your own head, your nervous system literally takes that and processes it as someone else in the room calling you an idiot. Now multiply that feeling, that same neuron firing every day, maybe a couple of thousand times a day for 20 years, that is 20 years of your nervous system literally being abused by one voice that it cannot escape. And here's the connection that nobody makes. Your self-image, the picture that you hold of yourself, is not built by your achievements. We've already covered that. It's not built by your circumstances. It's not built by what other people say about you. It is built about what you say to yourself repeatedly about yourself. We already understand how important self-image is. We already understand that identity is literally everything that we have, and your whole world is a reflection of your self-image. Now, this is where it gets deep. Your self-talk is the chisel, and your self-image is the sculpture. Every sentence carves a little bit out of the sculpture. Every word removes a little stone. By the time you're 30, the sculpture is set, and you've been the one carving it the whole time without you even realizing it, because you don't understand the damage that your self-talk is truly doing to you. Most people have truly been carving the wrong thing because they do not understand this. Let's quickly touch on the confidence flip before I move into the actionable steps that you need to understand in order to actually make a change. This is the part that most people miss. Confident people and unconfident people hear the same voice. Both of them get the negative self-talk. Both of them hear who do you think that you are in their head before every important moment. Both of them get the criticism. I get the same criticism. I have the same voice in my head as you do. It is totally normal. The difference isn't the voice, because the voice is always there. The difference is that the confident person always hears the voice as fiction. I'm in control of that voice. I understand what it is. I understand what it's trying to do to me, trying to pull me down, trying to keep me safe. The unconfident person hears that voice as the truth. It's the same spell. It's just different beliefs in that spell. That is the entire game. Your job isn't to silence the voice. You simply cannot. Nobody in human history truly has. Your job is to stop treating that voice as gospel and start treating it as noise. And here's exactly how we can do that. 3 moves done every day, starting today. 1, listen to your I am statements. This is the most important thing, and this is something that you need to be able to do in order to heighten your awareness to start to change your life. Every time you say, I am a person who, or I am just the kind of guy who, you are casting. You are literally spelling. You are installing code. Most people have 3 to 5 I am statements that they've been repeating for 20 years without even knowing it. I'm not good with money. I'm not a people person. I always get in my own way. Those aren't observations. They are spells that you literally keep recasting. I know that might sound crazy, but again, spelling, the word spelling comes from the ancient history of spell. If you don't understand that, if you're still not on the same page as me, truly understand that in ancient times, people that would spell, people that would speak, were seen as witches because they were casting spells which were bending reality and becoming truths. Any I am statement that you have or that you continuously hold on to is literally shaping the direction of your life. So what I challenge you to do is find your I am statements. Be observant of your I am statements. Write them down. You cannot fight what you haven't seen. Number 2, name the script out loud. A voice named is a voice weakened. A voice obeyed silently is a voice that runs your life. You don't argue with that voice. You don't shout over it with affirmations. You just look at it and say, there it is again. The moment you see the spell as the spell starts to lose its power. Not all at once, but it slowly starts to diminish. This is literally why ancient traditions named the demons, because a thing named can be faced and an unnamed thing runs the entire show. The final action step that you can take is start to change the way that you talk to yourself. Literally replace the words that you're using. When you catch yourself spelling, I always mess this up, don't shut it down. Don't fake affirm the opposite. Just interrupt it with something simple, something true. I'm figuring this out. I've done harder things. Don't be so hard on yourself with literally your own language, because that language is fucking changing and shaping your life. The new spell that you need to say doesn't need to be impressive. It just needs to be repeated. It just needs to carve its own pathway, because the voice that wins in your head is not the loudest one. It's the most repeated one. I want to leave you with this final message. Never forget this, and you will literally watch your life grow. Every word that you speak for yourself is a spell. Every sentence is a story that you've been writing for your entire life. You call it self-talk, but the ancients knew what it actually was, and so did every tradition that ever took this seriously. You were casting spells on yourself every hour of the day. The only question that truly matters is, what are you spelling into existence?